So, good evening everyone. I am Jacami Albino and I will going to discuss the implementing the design curriculum as a change process and the categories of curriculum change and their importance element. So, before I start, here are the objectives for us to be guided with our discussion. At the end of the discussion, at least 85% of 2i Electronics should be able to A. Define curriculum implementations. B. Analyze what is change process in the curriculum implementation through class discussion. And C. Explain the process of curriculum implementation. So now, let's discuss what curriculum implementation is. So, curriculum implementation means putting into practice then written curriculum that has been designed in syllabi, course of study, curricular guides, and subjects. It is a process wherein the learners acquire the planned or intended knowledge, skills, and attitudes that are aimed at enabling the same learning to function effectively in society. So, this curriculum implementation is curriculum models of Tyler, Taba, Saylor, and Alexander or Lewis. So, curriculum implementation is the next step to curriculum designing. So, this is the phase where teacher action takes place and it is one of the most crucial processes in curriculum development. So, next is the Ornstein and Hankis in 1987. So, it is the interaction between the curriculum that has been written and planned and the persons, which is the teachers, who are in charge to deliver it. So, first is the shift from what is current to a new or enhanced curriculum. So, shifting to a new or enhanced curriculum involves a planned and systematic process of changing the existing educational program. This change can range from minor adjustment to a complete overhaul depending on the goals and objectives. So, for example, is the shift from traditional to a competency-based curriculum. So, a school might shift from a traditional curriculum focused on lecture and rote memorization to a competency-based approach that emphasize practical skills and real-world application. So next is change in knowledge, action, attitude of the person involved. So this change can be gradual or rapid, and they are often interconnected. So the example here is a person who wants to learn ride a bicycle. So a person was initially has a little knowledge of how to ride through practice, which is the action. They gain knowledge of balance and coordination. So their attitude might shift from fear to confidence as they master the skills. So change in knowledge, action, and attitude are intertwined process that frequently influence each other. So next is the change in behavior using new strategies and resources. So here it requires identifying the target behavior, selecting appropriate strategies, and utilizing relevant resources to support the changes. So, for example, improving sleep hygiene. So, the target behavior here is to get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night. And the strategies you need to do is establish a regular sleep schedule, create a relaxing bedtime routine, optimize the sleep environment like dark, quiet, and cool room. So the resources are sleep hygiene apps, relaxation techniques like meditation and deep breathing. So the last one is change which requires efforts, hence goals should be achievable. So these principles emphasizes the importance of setting realistic and attainable goals to ensure success in avoid frustration, unrealistic goals can lead to demotivation and a sense of failure. Like for example, so um, I will lose 50 pounds in 1 month. So this is unrealistic for most people, and it could lead to unhealthy practice and disappointment. So next is to Lux and Lieberman 1983. So defined curriculum implementation as the trying out of new practice and what it looks like when actually used in a school system. In the classroom context, curriculum implementation means teaching what has been written in the lesson plan. In a large scale, curriculum implementation means putting curriculum into operation with the different implementing. So, this means that curriculum implementation is the process of putting a new revised curriculum into practices. So, it involves translating the goals and objective of a curriculum into actual education experiences in the classroom. And like for example, the teacher might use science experiment, field trip, and technology to engage student learning. So now let's proceed to the curriculum implementation as a change process by Kurt Lewin's force field theory. So, Kurt Lewin's 1951, the father of social psychology, explains the process of change. This model can be used to explain curriculum change and implementation. So, this model presents a simplified version of Kurt Lewin's force field analysis, focusing on factors influencing change within a system. So, the left column is the driving force. There are the factors that push for change or innovation, and it includes government's intervention, society's values, technological change, knowledge explosion, administrative support. So, on the right column is restraining force. So, these factors that resist change, creating materials and hindering progress. So, these restraining forces listed are fear of the unknown, negative attitude of change, traditional values, limited resources, absolute equipment. So, and in the middle, it is the equilibrium. It represents the balance between the driving and restraining forces. So, next is the categories of curriculum change. So, first is substitution. The current curriculum will be replaced or substituted by new one. So, this involves replacing one element of the curriculum with one another. So, next is alteration. An alteration, there is minor changes to the current or existing curriculum. So, in alteration, it involves modifying or adjusting existing curriculum elements. So, next is restructuring. So, buildings and new structures would major change or modification in the school system, degree program, or educational. So, this involves making significant change to the organization and structure of the curriculum. So, next is the perturbations. These are changes that are disrupted. Teachers should adjust to them with a fairly short time. So, these are unplanned or unexpected changes that disrupt the curriculum. So, the last one is value orientation. So, classification will respond to the shift of the emphasis that the teachers provides, which are not within the mission or vision of the schools or vice versa. So, this refers to the underlying philosophical principles and values that guides the curriculum. So, in the change curriculum, we have here the three important elements. So, the first one is the developmental, in the sense that it should develop multiple perspective, increase integration, and make learning autonomous, create a claim of openness and trust, and appreciate and affirm strength to the teacher. So, it aims to create a dynamic and engaging learning experience that foster critical thinking, collaboration, self-direction, and deep understanding of interconnected concepts. So, next is the participatory. For curriculum implementation to succeed, it should be participatory, especially because other stakeholders like peers, school leaders, parents, and curriculum specialists are necessary. So, participatory approach to curriculum implementation is crucial for its success because it leverages the expertise and insight of various stakeholders beyond just teachers. So, the last one is the supportive. Curriculum implementation is required in the process of change. Material support like supplies, equipment, and conductive learning environment like classroom and laboratory should be made available. Likewise, human support are very needed. So, materials and human support are interconnected. The best equipment is useless without trained teacher to use it effectively. So, that's all for tonight's discussion. I hope you learned a lot from my discussion and thank you for listening.